I arrived here, and I arrived here a little bit earlier than all the other writers. After making a road trip to America, me and my boyfriend flew to Los Angeles, and then we drove through Arizona and Phoenix, Denver. We ended, and from Denver, I took an airplane to Iowa City. And yeah, so I arrived here, I think 3 days before all the other writers arrived here. And I was so depressed when I saw Iowa City. Yeah, and I remember like I just walked around and I had like a hamburger at one of these places there. And I thought, oh, what a weird place is this? It was also, I understood later, before all the students arrived back. So it was Iowa City was very quiet. And we are staying in the Iowa House Hotel. So I had checked into my room, which does not have a river view.
Or view.
Or view, yeah. So I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna survive here for 2 months and 2 weeks? And yeah, oh my God, that road trip was so amazing, and now I'm here in the middle of America. And all during that road trip, everybody had also said, when I said that I was going to Iowa, they all said, why? Why are you going to Iowa? Yeah, so that's what I really felt these first days. And now I was walking back here, and I thought about all the beautiful things that have happened and all the beautiful people I've met. Yeah, so many of these beautiful people are here. And they're not only in the writing program, they're also you and you and you and other people that are not here. Yeah, and I really felt like this is one of the things that I will take home with me, that there's beauty everywhere, even in Iowa City. And there's beautiful and amazing people everywhere and beautiful things to see everywhere. Yeah, and like for me, Iowa City now is actually a really beautiful, magical place. And I'm very sad to leave, like really very, very sad. I've been crying already yesterday, and already the day before yesterday, and I will cry today also, and tomorrow probably. Yeah, because it has been a very magical, very healing time for me. Yeah, so that's what I feel, gratefulness for this whole experience and for meeting all of you. And yeah, so thank you for that, I think. Okay, yeah.
I actually feel tired from giving emotional support, and I'll need a few minutes. I'll come a bit later on. I actually just woke up, so I just can't talk
You
yet.
didn't give me any emotional support, Senka. Just cigarettes.
Oh my God!
Cigarettes and alcohol. No, you don't want to talk?
Oh my.
Go. I will stay next to
She's
you.
kind of, you the one who were, oh, thank you for standing there next to me. Okay, ooh, what do I say after this? I mean, I have to, like, improve the image of Iowa City. It was so beautiful when I arrived here. It was the most beautiful city I ever seen. So actually, it was quite strange, I have to say that as well, in a way that it was so nice and orderly and tidy, and there was something really strange with the sky in Iowa City. It looks like normally you're in a city and the sky is there and kind of goes this way, but in Iowa City you have a feeling like goes like this, so there's something really magical about that. So yeah, I did really like it, and it did get time to get used to the way the life goes on in Iowa City. But also, I think for majority of us, the whole thing was mostly about writers, and like it's really unusual, let's just say, to put it mildly, thing to have 34 people that have never met in their life, put them for 11 weeks in the same hotel room next to each other, like in each other's faces all the time. So I think we kind of became a family in a way that we're really dysfunctional. So we just, as any family, really love each other, and really kind of hate each other at moments as well. So it's been quite of a journey altogether. But what I'll take the most, of course, the images of the Iowa city and Iowa in general and all the like actual spaces we've been to, but the people that were part of the group, and I think when I mean, you all actually gave me so much, like from the cultures you come from, your languages, your personalities, and I have learned so much in this time. And I'm just constantly thinking about the accents in which you all speak, and they're so beautiful. And like, I don't know, African accents, there's something so almost ancient in them, and so much pain, and they're like Asian accents. They're so kind of shy in a way, but really decisive in a way as well. And they're like Spanish-speaking ones. They all feels it's like about joy and party. And yeah, and there is a czar. No one could understand anything he was saying for like 10 weeks, and now we finally understand him, and we're leaving. And yeah, and there are Eastern European ones that I belong to, and feels that we are constantly fighting. So yeah, it's been a blast. Oh my God, I'm feeling sad now as well. So we gave each other emotional support, and we're leaving the stage.
In the interest of time, I'll just read out what I wrote this morning. Thank you to the team at IWP. That's Chris, Natasha, Shelley, Ida, John, Khalid, everybody, who have planned this residency to make it memorable and educative, to say the least, and to use a very typical American expression, it was awesome. As a middle-aged man, I feel I have been literally back in college, and I hope I didn't disappoint behaving like a freshman, inspired, opinionated, without a care in the world, and loud. The friendships made here have certain characters: the vivaciousness of Noel, the deep and powerful poems of Bussy Siwe, the reflective stories of Sir and Lucy, the wisdom and skill of Yashir-san, the humor of Rahul, you saw this now, the impeccable manners of Ali, the soulful music of Arthur, the engaging anecdotes of Kevin, the spirituality rising out of Orit's poetry, Reta's sincerity, a typhoon called Tammy, and the heart and generosity and boisterousness of my closest set of friends, Azar, Marina, Sunist, and Wesley, writers, poet, and scholar, who have, I'm sure, denied our neighbors some restful nights. The title says Images of America, but because this trip of mine has been predominantly in Iowa, so I shall read a poem on Iowa by picking a great Iowan poet, James Hurst, which I realized many people didn't know here, often called the Robert Frost of the Midwest. I wrote this poem just before we left for New York. It's called Losing James Hurst in Iowa. Beneath an azure sky, red maple leaves fall softly on the ground. Autumn creeps in surreptitiously on the sidewalks of the city. I read the limited view online and peer into a landscape telescoped by time, yet unchanged. A life of toil and sweat on the unfolding cornfields that stretch for miles into the blazing dawn. Does a series of tragedies make your heart stronger or just thicker with scars? The crimson sun sinks low beyond the Iowa River and momentarily emblazons the horizon. We leave for our home countries in less than a fortnight. Before the snows fill up the vast rolling plains of Iowa, pretty as a picture postcard before Christmas. Almost 100 years ago, you write verses of an ordinary rural life, The pain anchors its roots into poetry. Your words draw water from the Cedar River. The ancient wisdom of the land matures into sentences. The clear face of a stanza sits firm on solid earth. Here, I go dizzy seeking the echoes of your words, only to find faint voices in the back alleys. You, the frost of the Midwest, bard of a hard country, have fallen like nickel from the city's pocket holes. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Eva, and I'm from Hong Kong, and this is not the first time I've been in Iowa City. I came here in 2017 during the 50th anniversary of the IWP, and I became very close friends with the Hong Kong writer in residence, Stuart Lau. And by very close friend, I mean he still sends me like 30,000 words he wrote to read every single morning, which was very interesting because after he finished his residency, he wrote a collection of poems containing each poem he wrote in Iowa City, which is one poem every day. And the title in Cantonese is called 果實未溫. And in English, it's called Grocery Run. It sounds very similar, 果實未溫. And the reference of that is that writers in residence are not supposed to drive in Iowa. And I don't know if the little Target existed when he was here. So he would have to go grocery shopping every week according to a schedule set by the program. Someone would drive them, drop them off at the supermarket. And he thought that was so poetic and so much fun that he named his collection of poems Grocery Run. So I would like to show you guys what I bought in Iowa City in my first grocery run. And it's this little guy. Yeah, like a true fake college student fashion, I waste my money on useless things. But the reason why I felt like I must have this duck is because A, I was shopping with Moon and we decided that we need this in our lives. And B, it was so fascinating that people in America started preparing for Halloween in early August. I've always felt that the celebration of certain festivals and holidays really tell you about where you are. Like, for example, in Hong Kong, we celebrate the Mid-Autumn Festival like a lot of East Asian people do. And we started selling mooncakes that we eat for Mid-Autumn Festival in the middle of summer. And I feel like Halloween is a version of that. Everywhere I go throughout the residency, there's something Halloween about it, like Halloween candy coming up from nowhere. That we had an amazing Halloween party at Kendall's just a few days ago. And I feel like even though I'm not that much into Halloween back in Hong Kong, there's a certain whimsical side of this obsession with Halloween, knowing that everybody in the entire country is preparing collectively for this one big party in the end of October, and then the next day everything goes into clearance, and then you can get everything 90% off. And I feel like this little duck has been a very good companion to me in my room. I did have a view, sorry, but I still really like seeing this duck, and it reminded me of like the importance of having something imaginative and whimsical in your life because, hey, this is what creativity is. This is what imagination is. If you have that kind of reminder in your life that a rubber ducky can also be a jack-o'-lantern, then you're going to make a really good writer. I hope so. Thank you, $1 duck.
guys, I'm Lucy from China. I'm a fiction writer. I bet it will be my last time to do such a self-introduction in Iowa. Yes, and I couldn't remember how many times I have repeated it in every literature event. But I could still remember the day I arrived here. It was August the 18th. It was very hot, me wearing a t-shirt with Lucy on it. And it was John who picked me up at CID. I found, oh, it's so tiny airport I have ever seen before. Yeah. Yes, and now it's November the 3rd. We're going to wear heavy coats, and it's not friendly to be outside for a long time. Actually, it's just been like 10 weeks passed away, but it seems like, according to the weather, we have already spent a whole year, 4th season here. I know some of you are afraid of cold, or you miss your family, or you're eager to go home. The answer to me is no. I don't want to go at all. How I wish I could stay for a bit longer for residency, but although I prefer the residency location could be New York. But Iowa is still good. I'm 32 years old, and actually it's my first time to use my passport to be abroad. So sometimes I'm wondering, is it a bit late for me to get to know the whole world? Yes, because I used to learn about America from books, movies, or newspapers, or the people who have been abroad before. And this time, I'm so happy to experience America on my own. So I spend most of the time walking around. When people ask me, where are you, Lucy? My answer is also always be like, I'm walking around, even under 40 degrees for the first few couple of weeks. Yes, I'm curious about everything here, and everything is so fresh and exciting for me, like the swimming suit drying machine in gym. That is magic, and I love it. And the blue satellite mobile toilet, there's so many, and and the fake smile on people's face. Yes. And everything, I'm so curious and impressed. Every Chinese started to learn English from their primary school. And the first lesson that our English teacher taught us was a sentence like, how are you? And the answer should always be like, I'm fine, thank you. And you? Actually, if you ask every Chinese, they will repeat that fluently. And then when we grow up, people said, no, it's a cliche. People don't do that every day in America. But when I arrived at Iowa, I'm getting to know a thing called Iowa nice. And every stranger come up with me and will ask me, how are you? And I have to say, I'm good, even I'm not. And it's like a revenge. And I have to say the same thing to that person, say, how are you? And they will respond like, I'm good, even they're not looking good. Obviously. And there are some foreigners who ask me to teach them a same greeting way in Chinese, like, how are you? And I usually choose a sentence called 吃了吗, which means, have you eaten today? Yes, because we Chinese don't give a shit on you're good and how are you, but we Chinese do care about whether you eat good food today. If you have eaten some good food, we will feel happy for you sincerely. And if you have not, we strongly recommend you to have a good meal. You will feel damn good for the whole day. And that is a special tip for Tammy Ho. Yeah, please remember to eat on regular time every day after we are not by your side. And so I give the same wish to every writers and every staff and every friend who are caring about IWP. I will miss you, and I wish we can meet each other some days later in some corner of the earth, and I wish that will be a better world or not getting worse so fast. Yes. Thank you. I'm Lucy.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I'm here as an American from Singapore, from the Philippines, who lives in Singapore. And Iowa is not my first Midwestern city, but I did have preconceived notions, and they were all proven wrong. And it's because of what Senka says, the light and the sky is really different. I went to graduate school in Ohio, Bowling Green, Ohio, home of the National Tractor Pulling Championship. And so because of all that Iowa represents to me as a writer, there was no question that I would not come. I wanted to come. But I managed my expectations. I was here in the United States in the 1990s and then away for a very long time, just for quick visits. I had never been back to the Midwest until now. So 1990 to 2023. That's a huge difference. And the big thing for me was, oh my God, there's real Asian food here. Real Asian food, real good Asian food. And I saw little children running around the supermarket saying, Mom, I want sushi. White, blonde children saying, I want sushi. That just, as someone who went to school here in the 90s and where I could not find sushi or even proper Chinese food in Bowling Green, sorry, but it's true, that was like an immense realization that little children are saying, I love sushi. That's amazing. That's one story. Obviously, I talked to friends from both the Philippines and Singapore about their experience and further managed my expectations. They said, don't expect to get any work done. Work, forget it, just have fun. I tried to work, and I worked a little bit, but the internet has made total work and retreat impossible because there's always someone saying, you want to eat, you want to go, you want to go for a walk, you want to go to the gym, on and on it goes. And I am a social creature, and so there was that. But I will say that they told me, if you can, if you're lucky, make lifelong friends. And I feel that that's happened and that's done. And even though we may not be at the same place that we were when we came, it has still been overall a strange and sometimes wonderful experience. And I'll leave you with one more thing, even though we have only 30 minutes left, one more thing, that's the image of America, which has nothing to do with the writing program, but with the fact that one day I met somebody in the farmer's market who picked up my glasses, and he gave them to me because they fell off my head, because that's what happens to me. He picked up my glasses and handed them to me, and I looked at him and I said, are you Filipino? And he said, yes, I am. And we became friends. And he is young enough to be my son. He is the son of a nurse who was recruited from the Middle East to work in Racine, Wisconsin. And his first memory of the United States was with his father, who followed a year after his mother was here. His father was a jeepney driver. I don't know if you know it. It's a form of public transportation, who had then said, what am I going to do in America? I guess I'll drive a bus, a school bus. He drives a bus to this day in Racine, Wisconsin. His mom is semi-retired from her nursing job. And he is now teaching music and chorale conducting and choir vocal training at the #1 high school in Iowa State. That is Iowa West High. Iowa West High. And he is so proud that in the middle of our dinner, he said, I have to take you somewhere. Where are we going? And in the middle of the night, he took me to the best equipped music and art school I've ever seen, certainly not in the Philippines, for making computer music. And here was this boy from Iloilo, which you never probably heard of because it's a province in the Philippines, so proud to teach at this school. This is my image of America. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. We're here again, and I think it's my last day here at Iowa City Library. Last day to be seeing your beautiful faces. I've actually met incredible people in the program and out of the program. The image of America to me, I think I would just want to represent Iowa as a city full of skyscrapers. Now skyscrapers of knowledge to me. Yeah. Intellectually, I'm not going back as just the guy who came here wishing for this tree to become a forest. I'm going back as a guy who has that vision to turn this tree into a forest. You guys helped me a lot. Every writer helped me a lot. I can't start mentioning names. The coordinators, I'll miss you people so much. I'll miss you people so much. I got to meet a family I never asked for. I got to meet people who fought for me. I never also asked for that. So Iowa will be, this is my first America. Iowa City. It has a lot in my career. If you guys see me on the stages of Oscars, know that, know that Iowa has something to do with it. If you guys see me picking up some awards during Sundance, Iowa has something to do with it. I'm a filmmaker, I'm a screenplay writer, but I've had this awakening, this creative awakening, different approaches because of the amazing writers I've met. There is a group in church of elderly people. They have taught me beautiful things, and they have taught me love. They have taught me love is more about reawakening the giants within you, not expecting what another person has to do to you. You have to expect what you have to do to another person. Then it will rub off the other person and mirror back as beautiful to you. I'll be missing you guys. And one thing, I love you people so much. Thank you, Iowa. Thank you, IWP. I appreciate it.
Hello, everybody. Well, you know my name and her name, so not necessary. I'm nervous. I want to say, I will be very short, very brief. I want to say that for me, the residence was like a very long dialogue with friends, writers, and when we came here, we didn't know each other, I know. And then this dialogue and this possibility of listening to the others and try to understand or understanding where they came from, their cultures, their language, and why they are writing what they are writing. So I strongly believe, because of the country that I came from and my family and my story, that living with in community is very important. In this sense, that for writing is very important. I believe that writing is because we have this long dialogue, deep dialogue about the things that we are, looking for or thinking about or projecting. So for me, the residence was like facing a lot of ghosts and a lot of desires and test and asking the others, what do you think about this or what do you want to know? Never-ending dialogue. And I hope that this dynamic about dialogue we can project to our realities and to be better and to have, I don't know how to say, a better routine, a better daily, a better work, and all that. Well, that's what I want to say.
Okay. I only want to share with you the dream that I have this morning after a very beautiful night with a lot of dance and music and a good dinner with all our friends. This morning, I wake up early because I want to say goodbye to my gentle yoga teacher. And before I go to the gym in Spanish of Mexico, because gym in Spanish of Argentina. And I dream that I have an orange in my hand, and I start to, yes, and some people ask me, how are you doing that? And I only can answer, because I want to share. I have an orange all the time, or a fruit for share. And after that, we are in a very beautiful party with a projection of lights. And I was very happy for that. And some boys in the universe says, let me take my phone because I wrote that. Some boys says, nobody can take apart the way that everyone wants to write. And I say, oh, this is amazing. This is my last dream in Iowa. And I feel very happy for stay here with all of you. And thank you very much.
Hi. I just most of all want to thank all the organizers of the program. I have been working with groups myself, small groups of 12 people or so in an artist residency, and I know it's not easy. And you guys somehow managed to handle a group more than 30 people and keep it together and always be there, find ways of helping us. That's amazing. So I hope we can all give a round of applause to the organizers. And especially in these times that have not been easy for any of us, not the organizers either. And yeah, for me, the biggest take out of this residency is, of course, meeting all the wonderful people here. I feel like it has been a miniature of the world in our group. We have all these cultures, countries, regions, languages represented. Well, not all that exist in the world, but nevertheless a big variety. So maybe for the first time, I felt like I've been able to also see my own culture from a perspective. Where does it fall in, like, among all these cultures and, yeah, people and points of view? And that's been really valuable. I'm a slow person to process things, so if you'd ask me in 2 months, I could say more, but now I'll just thank everyone. And also, I think it's really amazing how you managed to engage the local community here. That's very valuable. So we are not just living in a bubble in Iowa City, but we actually have some contacts with the people living here and working here. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. This is very difficult. I write about home a lot, and the search for home seems perpetual. It feels one is always seeking. And so it is always refreshing to find that home is not necessarily a single place, and sometimes not even a place. Sometimes home is found in multiple places, and sometimes home is found in people, in situations. Sometimes home is found in languages you don't even know, in the ways in which people come together. And IWP would not know this, but I needed this. I needed this. I needed it for me, I needed it for my writing, and I am so very grateful to be given this space to focus on my writing and to have community. I did do some writing, but I think a major thing, and there have been many things, and there will be many things that come to me that I realize that I have gotten from this experience. But an important thing is being in a space that focuses on writing, on creativity, to have engagement with people who are in the same struggle, so to speak, you know, because it does feel lonely, and we talk always about how lonely writing is, and to have a conversation among all these lonely people together has been really beautiful. Something very significant for me as well is that first day when I walked to Shamba House to see Natasha to work on my schedule, and I didn't know exactly where I was going. I had my camera out, and I was like, what is this? There's just this, I don't know where I am. You know, there is nothing, I don't know the trees, I don't know the people, but I walked, and to be able to walk was a profound thing. And I got to Shamba House, had the meeting, and I was like, oh, the bank is not far from here. I think I can walk there too. And I was just like, it felt so good to be in the world and to be able to, I don't know, it felt like a renewed kind of freedom to be able to engage with the world in that way. And so I feel like that has also been a gift to say, you belong here. Not just in Iowa, and I'm going to take the privilege of saying that I belong in Iowa. But you belong in the world, and you can claim it, you can take it for yourself, and you can go and discover and experience the world. Finally, there is a poem by Mel Cook, who is Jamaican. I do not remember the words of the poem, but it talks about meeting, and how a meeting either between two people or a larger group is such a special kind of experience, because the things that had to come together for that meeting to take place is like amazing, it's magical, right? And it could not have happened, but it happened. And we talk about the family and how the particular people from the particular countries needed to be here for this to happen. And so I'm grateful that this is the grouping that I've had the privilege of being a part of. I'm so very grateful to IWP and the entire Iowa community. And this will continue to be difficult and a blessing. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so very much.
Hi, my name is Yasuhiro. I'm from Japan. I'm a poet. And for all the love and support and kindness from Iowa, from the staff and from the fellow writers, for which I'm extremely grateful. But as a poet, I have to share with you my honest image and impression, uncensored, but biased, of America. So the first strong impression was the sound of toilet flush in Iowa House Hotel. It was so noisy, so loud and powerful, explosive, in fact, that I thought it was some kind of the super high-tech toilet equipped in space shuttle. And then I went to swim in a university gym almost every day, and there is a beautiful sauna. But the students in sauna are completely closed with shirt and pants and sneakers and caps and headset with iPhones in their hands. And some of them are even stretching or doing yoga. That's very American. I think something that you would never see in Finland, red town. And on my way to the gym, there is this street crossing, and you have to push this button. And each time you push it, you know what comes? That weird sound of wait. It says wait. It's so haunting that I'm very sure that even after coming back to Tokyo, I would keep hearing it. Every time I try to do something, it is going to go, wait. But the strongest and perhaps the most long-lasting impression or image of America, of Iowa, is a vest, a black vest. You know what I'm talking about, a vest and a man, the man in the black vest. Week after week after week, we've seen that. Well, we don't have the vest today, but Raul is here, and he's personified that very well in the Halloween party. But in the end, I was not sure anymore whether the man was wearing the vest or the vest was wearing the man anymore. Then novelist comes and take the man away because a man has stories and novelist needs a story to tell. Poet is left with a vest, just a black vest. No man, no story. But then so much depends on it, like the red wheelbarrow glazed in the rain water. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Marta. I want to say thank you, and I want to say the sloths didn't disappear. They make big smaller and came to the tropics to write poetry. Do you remember the giant sloth? But I was talking to my friend that in the most special time is here to have time to write. And I'm grateful because to me, it was the first time that I spent a lot of time, weeks, living alone in a room. I always been with Latin people, with our whole family, be together. And now I have a room with no beautiful view, but at least I can see a little space in the night. Sometimes, and in summer, I can see. But this was good because I have a time to concentrate and to finish a lot of projects books that have been sleeping in my laptop a lot of years, and now I just finished 3 projects, and I'm very grateful for this. And I will send you the link to you. Can you read it? But the best is my new friends, especially my new sister, poetry sister. And they are here. And you know, maybe this is only weeks, but we have experience and friendship, new contact, and new ideas for all our life, for the rest of our life. And grateful to everyone. I want to say, be careful with your mental health. We need mental health care in this program. You know, the creative people alone for different places to be in this place 11 weeks, you know, something happened. Thank you very much. And thank you to my sister. Thank you again.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mansoura Azzeddin, a writer from Egypt. I'm so lucky to be with such good friends and sisters. During my first week in Iowa City, I received a very encouraging email from the great Palestinian writer Anton Shammas. He wanted to welcome me to the Midwest, and I got to know him a year ago through a wonderful friend of mine, Ersi Soteropoulos. She is a wonderful writer from Greece. And he told me in his email that he got to know her here in Iowa. They were together here in 1981, and they continued their friendship ever since. I remember that I wished to have such a good friendship that will start here in Iowa and will last for a lifetime. And now, in the end of my stay here, I feel so lucky to have a lot of friends, and especially these two and many others. And I hope that we will be able to be friends forever. Thank you. I'm not finished yet. This residency was so dramatic, for me at least. It was full of ups and downs. I laughed a lot, and I wept a lot as well. I had wonderful memories and some heartbreaking moments here. But in conclusion, I feel very grateful for all these writers and staff. I believe that writing is a hand reaching out for others. In our world that is full of barriers, walls, and borders, writing could be a bridge, or at least it could be like a promise of a bridge. And I'm glad that we are here trying to bridge our differences. And I think we managed to do so very well. Thank you.
Hi, so my name is Mary Rohonandravu, and I'm from Fiji. So I'm the third writer to come from my country, and the gap between the last two and myself is almost 30 years. So this was an experience in itself, at least for me. I wasn't sure what I would be doing when I come over. I knew that there would be a little writing, and I knew that networking was important. I no longer believe in the word networking. I think it's friendship that we call it. Especially in this IWP. We can call it networking in other contexts, maybe. So it's no longer that for me. The one thing that I can say I was most excited about was having access to libraries that I actually stocked with books, not empty buildings or with very outdated material, which is probably what we have in my country. So having access to that, and then having access to the museums that we have here, in Iowa, and in particular the Stanley Art Museum, and also the Museum of Natural History, which completely blew my mind. So I ended up writing much, much more than I ever thought I would. And I think I have both the writers in my cohort and IWP and its faculty, and Iowa City and its people as well. And on 2 occasions previously, I've shared this, and I think it's important for me to actually say that I've actually written more here in 11 weeks than I ever did over the last 10 years. Meaningful writing that, I can be confident about, which I hadn't been before. So that's come out of this residency, and I think that's the incredible value that I have, I cannot say that I produced it myself, because it's the community, it's the network, the fellowship of writers and staff, and all the events that took place and the sharing in this residency that led to that. There was something on Images of America. I think I could share 2 things for me that were highlights. One was visiting the Poetry Foundation headquarters in Chicago when we were there. The other one was visiting the New York Public Library on our trip there. So those were incredible experiences. And then here in Iowa, I almost wished that I had delayed my coming over by a year. Because next year, you get to experience a natural phenomenon that I wish I could witness myself. And that is your cicadas reach 17 years and come out. So I wrote about that without experiencing it, because we have a variety in Fiji, but it comes out every 7 or 8 years. But yours, of course, in America are the longest ones that are there for 17 years before they come out, and next year is that. And the reason I talk about it is because when I arrived in Iowa, I couldn't sleep the first night, because you keep hearing the cicadas in the evening, and then most days and nights as well, in the evenings. Now, in terms, the final thing that I wanted to say is, I think my gratitude and our gratitude, all 3 of us, to the IWP itself, and particularly to the faculty and staff, and to everyone who's been engaged with us on a day-to-day basis. So Shelley, John, Khaled, Ida, and Monique, and of course Chris, who heads everything, Natasha. And Natasha.
Oh, Mike.
And Mike, of course,
Mike.
or we will get bad photographs.
Yeah.
But anyway, so for me, that has been the most valuable, and I think that's probably what I'll miss the most. And I may be wrong, but I think that I'm the writer who has been downloading the most from online from the Iowa library system, because I don't have that access when I go back to my country. So I suspect I'm the one doing the most downloads right throughout. Yes. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Suor. I'm from Guangzhou, China. And actually, on last Saturday's interview, I talked to Natasha, and I will define this journey to Iowa City as a journey of odyssey. And when you finish this 3 months residency, and like Odyssey, the Odyssey's 10 years trip on the sea, and then you go back home, it seems like nothing changes, but it does. It does inside. And I couldn't tell it more specifically right now, but it still needs time to digest the 3 months experience. But I just can tell it more. It's various, something like I would define that the 3 months residency as a state of exception. Then you can do something that you would not do in your at home. And for instance, I'm not a person who really likes shopping. Maybe one or twice in a year, but here, maybe 8 or 9 times in 3 months. And I'm not the guy who just walking into the store and looking and walking around and buy nothing and go out. I did buy something, quantities of things. And yeah, and I also will say that that's why I say that the state of exception. And I also define that the Iowa City is some kind of similar in some ways with my hometown. it's a kind of museum of countryside with the ponds, the rivers, the fields, the corns, the beans, the animals, the birds, the deers, and many, many voices from the nature. And I often go to excursion on my own, and I just casually and without any purpose just search it on the Google map, and I find, oh, this place I will go today. And once I actually I went to a farm, which called the Johnson County Historical Farm, something like that. And yeah, and I went there, and I met a guy who was the only employee in the program of the farm. There are 4 programs of the farm, and he just took care of them all. So he's a very kind and nice person, and just showed me his greenhouse excitedly, like I'm the only visitor in the half a year. And what the most interesting thing is he used to be an MFA student in Iowa City. And he used to be an upcoming, emerging, promising writer. But he changed his job as a farmer. So sometimes I joke to my friends, and if I couldn't make a living for writing things, maybe I can go back to hometown and be a farmer. But that's jokes. Like last night I talked to Lau, and he also wants to be a farmer. I just say, bullshit, you cannot bear it. And yes, that's a joke. It really takes efforts and patience and devotions to it and skills to it. So it's not that easy stuff to deal with. So, but the guy I met that really feels that he really liked his job and makes some fun doing this job. So I'm very glad that he can find that something more important in his life. And maybe that's the most important thing I learned, that I find that you just be yourself, not just, you are not was born to satisfy anyone's desire and expectations. And that's why I said that you are just a man who was a traveler to this world for several decades lives. So that's it. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Iya. I'm from Ukraine. I would say not so much things. That I want to say thank you. I'm a person who have problems with home. I have a house, my own house, and live with a long time. This idea that home have no, for me, some deep reason. But here I think that it was time that I lived in my own house with many apartments, with many neighbors, and I know each neighbor from each house. In Ukraine, it's not each time like this. Very often I don't know my neighbors in Ukraine, but in this Iowa City house, I know all friends. I have image of these neighbors. I have image of these neighbors. Some of them I know closest, some not. And second thing that, and I want to say thank you to Shelley, to Natasha, to Chris, to John, to Khaled, to staff, to all people here, for feeling of this home. There you can know and say hello each of your neighbor. And other thing that I don't remember, I'm not very social person. I like to see in my corner. and I don't remember how, when I was in such a big group from my university times. And I think that I felt here like I I went to the university again. I had two high educations and another one unfinished. And this time was me like another one education because I learned very much about different corners of our world about I didn't know before at all. I have these faces of many countries now, and it's very beautiful because I can imagine through these people how their countries look, and it is very beautiful. And that's all. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. ¿Cómo estás? Of course, those are influences we're picking here and there. I think those are some of the things. So I know I would stay somewhere and just be like, oh, ¿qué pasó? Of course, I'm picking some Spanish here and there. I think that's the beauty of this thing. And one of the questions I've asked myself is how we have not killed ourselves. Yeah. We came in like Natasha told me, I like the phrase she used when I first came in. She said we came in the dog days of summer. It was so hot, I did not know how to tell people back home that I can't stand the heat. I'm African, for crying out loud. How do I tell them I can't stand the heat? And so many crazy other things have happened. I think one of the beautiful things that I have experienced here is going back to find the inner child. I think that's one of the things many writers discovered here again. You should see this man. He's a very serious man. Ali is a very serious man. But you should see him play pool. And you'll be like, what? This guy? Very serious guy. But when he's playing pool, that's that freedom. That extra, just relieving yourself of all the stress, forgetting the world you have known, coming to rediscover yourself. And I think it's going to play out in many of the writings that would happen after now. Those are the things that are going to be very important. A couple of people have been writing here. But when we would go back in that silence and taking all the crazy we have done, like making noise for some of our neighbors. In fact, some of our neighbors had to move. My God. We're terrible, guys. We're terrible. I have my friends who were always, my closest, who were always working with me. You have Wesley, you have Marina, Maricela. And it's funny we have not seen the president. Because we call him the president, Azar. I think he is like, he's like the perfect metaphor for this whole experience. Just some kind of a dance, crazy dance, just some kind of a rhythm that's not making sense, but eventually we are loving it. It's becoming beautiful. I think he's like the perfect metaphor for all the things that we have gone through. I know the food was one of the first issues we had. But I think America tells you, see, I'm going to leave you varieties. Go and find your own thing. Look for it by yourself. That independence, I think that's my real image of America. The independence. So you go to the shop or you go to Target and nobody's going to be asking you, oh, what do you want to buy? Because that's how we do it back home. And then I am mistrusting the machine and I'm asking, if I give it $100, will it give me my change? Some of all these beautiful things are the things we experience here. It's been a very pleasant experience. And like Mary said, you see the books are the things that make here really, really special. And I have loaded my boxes with books, and I'm hoping Shelley will pay when they say I have an extra luggage. I'm just hoping she would pay. I am very grateful for people who arguments. We had very great arguments, serious arguments, and you wonder if some of these people will talk to you again, and next morning they'll be like, hey, let's go and eat. You're like, what's that? It's been a very wonderful time. I am grateful for all the special people who came for this residency. It wasn't all smooth, but it was worth it. And I know that there's a transformation in each and every one of us. I want to also thank people who were not necessarily part of the whole program, but made space for us. People like Professor Kendall. Thank you very much, sir. I really, thank you. Thank you. A couple of other persons who, just made space, allowed us come in, took us on there, just to share that moment with them. Thank you very much. We are going to cry, I know, but we are just holding it. So when we go back into our room, we'll cry and then come out and laugh. I know Marina is already doing that. She'll cry in a room and come out and laugh with us, but it's beautiful. Thank you very much.
All right, come on up. Show your hand.
Okay, thank you, everybody. I have 3 points to share with you. The first, I like barbecue, and when we had a party, and our friend Dan cooked the meat pie for us, and I asked him, why don't you put the sauce into the meat before you put it in on the fire? So I told him a Chinese secret technique: put the sauce into the meat before the fire, and Dan told me a secret American technique. He told me only the smoked ribs and chicken wings called barbecue. And so in China, we call barbecue things it's not barbecue. So we exchanged our secret technique. I think that's a good thing. And the second one, I like the gym of our university. I never saw so big a gym, and I never see so much muscles in one room. You know, so much muscle. In North China, like Beijing, people often show the good wish to the other people. Chilma, that mean have you eaten? If wishing you have enough food in your home, that's a good wish. And in South China, like Guangdong, like Hong Kong, some places, and people show the good wishes to each other. They say, 恭喜发财. That means I hope you rich. I hope you rich. But the good wishes in China can change. And in the gym, I say to the people, I hope you have big muscle. And the boys told me, I hope you too. And they stand in the mirror. I hope you too. And the third thing I like Iowa. I like Iowa City. Is easy to talk with strangers. If you in Beijing, in Shanghai, even in New York, you talk to strangers. Oh, what do you mean? What do you want? And in Iowa, people often talk to strangers. I like this. One day, I smoke and see the computer in the outside the hotel, and come 2 young boys, and they call me, "Hey, dude!" Hey, dude. And this one said, "Hey, what's your smoke? I didn't see the cigarette like your smoke." I said, "This is a Korean cigarette. This long and slim." And he asked, "What's your read? Korean too?" Oh, I said, "No, this is Chinese." "Oh. You smoke Korean cigarette and you read Chinese. So can you speak English?" I said, my English is not good, but I'm speaking English. And the other boy told me, apologize. He's an idiot. But I had a good time with talking with each other, especially strangers. For me, Iowa City is a big garden, but I know no one can live in the garden and live in the gym forever. People live in people. People live in people. I like Iowa. People, nice to people. Thank you.
Okay, I think that I have not to say anything, but I remember something. When I met Shelley in Zoom and John, I told them I want to have my own Ciudades Desiertas de José Agustín experience. I want to do this kind of writers thing that they do that in Iowa. And I had a beautiful experience as a writer, but also Ciudades Desiertas, if you understand. I don't want to say anything more. I write this because I guess when I was hearing you, I thought that we are not talking about, in my opinion, a lot of literature, and I have this kind of idea that I want to know all my colleagues, literature colleagues, and that's a promise for the future. And I guess that's the best gift that this resident gives me. And also I want to say, I'm sorry because I don't want to forget anything. Of course, this residency gives me friends, accomplices, a lot of tenderness, and that it makes me feel surprised because I didn't expect that. But also give me the opportunity to walk along the river. I live in Madrid. We don't have river. We are living in this kind of desert. And the river was my best friend here. And somehow these conversations with myself just give me hours and hours for writing. I write a lot here in Iowa, and that is the best gift into 2023 in my life. I wrote a lot, and that is so important to me. So thank you for this opportunity. Thank you because I feel like I am writing something really good, and it will be like this is from Iowa. And the last thing I just want to say, as a professional writer, but also as a woman, it changed my life in very, very sense. So thank you so much, all of you guys. Thank you so much, all the staff. But thank you so much, Iowa, because I really feel writer here. Thank you.
All right. Well, I think we are going to wrap it up. All right. Thank you all, everyone.